Let's talk about it. Your boy Kyle Rittenhouse got that smoke from the maga to a snowflakes. So you already heard, it's already old news. He already retracted statements, but still worth a discussion about MAGA and the Republicans and how snowflakey they are. They no different from the left. They act the same exact way. Ooh, danced on him. But yeah. So Kyle Rittenhouse came out. I think he said something on Twitter, and then he lost a bunch of followers. He lost like 20,000 followers after he did that about writing in Ron Paul and about not voting for Trump because he doesn't support or he's a 2A absolutist, and that's his issue. That's what he wants to vote for. Obviously, he was a 21-year-old guy who probably had to go fast because of the situation, killed two people. I'm sure that's a bunch of stuff, going on with that, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, all that. And then, like, he's, despite him beating his case, despite him getting off and being justified, he's still, a black sheep. A lot of people don't like him. I think he tried to get to a college, and the college denied him access. So it's like, he don't got a lot of options. A lot of people who were on the bandwagon in the beginning, they probably fell away. Some of the lawyers that was taking the case and allegedly trying to help him, they just wanted the money and the attention, and they fell back away, which is a bunch, happens all the time with high-profile cases. But I see he's in a sticky situation, like it's obvious, and the NRA didn't even reach out to him. I think UCAA didn't reach out to him, nothing like that. None of these organizations reached out to help him. He was just on his own. And I don't know. I watched a few other videos of people. Some people I thought that was actually going to take his side, but they didn't. They said no. I guess they're blaming some other guy. I don't know who he is, but he's another YouTuber, older person who is also a 2A absolutist and also doesn't like Trump, but for whatever reason. But gotta call it how I see it. I have no problem with what Kyle said, even though I am a 2A advocate. His vote is his vote. All those comments and all these people wishing bad things happen to this man, this kid. I think it's nasty work. And again, it's like, as a black person, we already know we don't have any friends, we don't have any enemies, we just have interests. And because at any moment, if you cross the line or they'll feel something different about a certain topic, they'll get rid of you. As case in point, Candace Owens over there at the Daily Wire. Well, over there with her little hat buddy, who got rid of her because she don't want little kids getting bombed in Gaza. But in reality, on the right, they're no different than the left. They act the same way. They have their issues. They will cancel you the same way. They will wish you lose your job for the same issues. They aren't very different. And the funny thing is, Kyle's not wrong. His assessment of what Trump is not wrong. I think that Condoleezza Rice is the most brilliant person that ever graced the White House. I believe that she is. People talk about her running and being vice president, even though I know she doesn't want to do it. But I think she is brilliant. I think she is smart. I think she's intelligent. I think she knows what she's doing when it comes to being Secretary of State and foreign policy, all that other stuff, even though, it was a lie about mapping of mass destruction, and the deceased Colin Powell held up that fake vial of anthrax and all that and put on a great performance. But nonetheless, I think she knows what she's doing. But on The View, they were talking about guns, and she said something about taking AR-15s. I could never vote for her because of that. If she was a nominee, I just would not vote. Like, I'm that dogmatic about it. You literally said the words. And if Kyle felt that way about Trump's speech, if you go back and watch the video 6 years ago, because I've just been doing that myself, just going back, looking at that press conference, and I get it. It was his mother mass shooting. A bunch of kids got killed. And it's under his watch. Everybody's on his ass. He's probably personally not even a true gun guy, even though he had one in New York. He had a pistol permit. The one guy who had like a concealed carry permit or in New York. He don't know anymore. My bad. He's a felon now. So he had to get rid of those guns. But that's kind of wild. How you got the president who can't even have guns advocating for your Second Amendment rights. But I say all that to say is like he's not wrong. Kyle's assessment is right. Trump said some shit he shouldn't have said. I watched some of the videos of some people trying to tap dance around the conversation, but I watched some people straight up say no, he was wrong. Hopefully he misspoke or whatever. You had Mike Pence arguing against him why he can't do that, why we do have due process, and the context was crazy people, which is like, you know, whatever. But obviously we know that those laws that can be targeted for them and made for them, people who are mentally unstable, can easily be flipped, and they'll use it to justify us. That's the whole point. The whole point of the bun stop ban that Trump did do executive order, and he let the ATF do it, is they'll use the same means, the same excuses to ban other things that they want to ban and get rid of anytime they want. So that it was the principle of the matter. Like, no, we're not doing that. I personally don't care about bump stocks. Like, you know, they're pointless and stupid to me. But it was the principle of how Trump did it with the executive order and how he allowed the ATF to do it. We'll just make up another random rule, which is what it is. But listen to what Trump said in that video. You can't make any excuses for it. It's no mental gymnastics. It is what it is. He said some fuck shit. If you're a 2A advocate, if you are a constitutionalist, any of those things, what he said was trash. And if that's what he's barking his opinion on, you know, this is a guy who, this is going to be his livelihood. This is going to be his future. Now, again, some people say you don't crash out, you don't throw the baby up with the bathwater. It's about harm reduction. Same situation that people kind of use the example with Gaza. I am all for people crashing out. I am all for people saying fuck the system and whatever. If they don't like the options they have, don't vote. I'm not telling anybody who to do anything for or how you should feel about it, but I know if I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to have to be consistent. Now, I wish Kyle was more savvy instead of bitching out and capitulating so quick, and was able to have a conversation or a meeting with somebody from his team and be like, yo, Trump, you said this, and that 6 years ago after the Parkland shooting. Have your opinion changed? You still feel the same way? How do you feel about the Supreme Court? Shout out to them that got rid of your bullshit ass bump stock ban. Like, he had to address that shit. He didn't get any type of consolidations or anything, but he just came back and he supported them. I don't like that. I wish he was. I mean, again, he's young, 21 years old. Had to go up fast probably because of that. I did use my teammate for bait right there. But I wish he had did that. I wish he was like, yo, you know, let's have this conversation. Let's have this dialogue. Let's talk about this shit before I just run right back into your arms and give you my endorsement. Like, no, my endorsement, clearly his endorsement matters. Clearly his endorsement had value, that the team kept reaching out. People kept trolling his Twitter. He lost, they say, 50,000 people unfollow him because of that. Because he said, yeah, I'm writing in. Then you hear the rhetoric, too, of a vote for Rand Paul is a vote for Kamala Harris and all other dumb shit. Like, it's exactly what liberals say. People have a right to vote for whoever they want to vote for, endorse whoever they want to endorse. So what? If that person's dividing the vote, whatever, it's your choice. It's your option to do that. As much as you want to say, because I was watching the Coon Conservative talk about it in his video, and he was like making a whole point that you don't crash out, and you're going to get less of what you want from the left. And I'm like, but no, we didn't get no gun control from Obama. He tried to do a lot of stuff he couldn't get done, but Trump did do some things. Trump did try to get a bipartisan bill with some fuck shit. I told him not to go on that graveyard. They didn't listen to me, and they all died. The hoes don't listen. But yeah, it's like there should be a consequence for that. There should be a consequence for letting politicians know, like, you cross the line. You know, I don't have the money to buy you, like, you know, because that's what politicians are. They're whores, and you buy them and you use them, and then when you're done, then you buy another one. But another way to do it is if you're popular and have an influence to where you can have your followers support you or not. Of course, in Kyle's situation, some of his followers just bounced on him. But you know, it's just like the harm reduction argument is what it is, but we still need people that are willing to say to crash out. I think so. You need people that are willing to say, oh, well, if we lose this round, we lose this round. Especially since, you know, like after the 94 crime, well, it was a crime bill because it was in there, but after that gun ban in 94, like 54 senators lost their seats after that happened. So there was a consequence for that fundamentally changed Congress for a long time because Democrats usually always won the Congress, the House and the Senate, and that changed the game. It was some stuff that happened with Newt Gingrich and all that stuff. It's a documentary on HBO that breaks all that down. But I'm saying there was a heavy consequence for them doing that. A lot of the blue dogs and red states, a lot of they all lost their seats. They had to go get real jobs because that one vote. People waited until that next election, and they voted their asses all off the island. So there's consequences for doing something gun control like that. And Cody Noir just did a video breaking down how Reagan, his assassination attempt, helped usher in a bunch of gun control. The Brady thing and the background checks and the NICS system, all that stuff came out of that situation, right? And don't get it twisted, Trump's assassination couldn't do that too. Like, put the dots all there. And that's one of the bigger issues I'll do a separate video on. But, like, I remember distinctly some people on the right, after that same shooting, changing their tune. I think it was the governor of Ohio. I think it was a female or a senator. I forgot. But she was talking some gun control shit. And Ohio is a red state. S.C. Cupp, who's a liberal, but she was a pro-gun liberal, whatever that is. She demolished Angela Rye years ago in a gun debate conversation. Just murked her. Just like no lube. And after that same shooting, her tune changed. Completely different. And she didn't even bother making a valid argument or making points. It was all emotion of that situation. And you can see even in that conversation, in that press conference with Trump, he was getting a lot of pressure from all sides. It looked bad. He looked at his polls, whatever, and he was like, yo, we got to do something. Because that's one thing different with him and other presidents is his thing is, well, we got to just do something. And we're going to do it. Like, a lot of other people kick the can down the road. They let a bunch of pork get in the bills that dilute the bills. He kept saying that, like, yo, I don't want 15 different bills. I want one bill. We all are bipartisan. This is the one topic we all can agree on, blah, blah, blah. Let's just get it done. And that was his focus, and that was his mindset. Thank God for his Supreme Court picks that shut that all down. I hated that I walked in here and got raped. Nasty work. But, yeah, that whole situation was trash to me. That, all it takes is the right mass shooting, and some of the people that claim to be pro-gun, pro-2A rights, they were compromised. And we saw that Trump did do that when the heat was on him to do so. And like I said, we already see Democrats trying to use Trump's assassination attempt to push for gun control. Now, if he get in a tight spot again, or whatever happens, or whatever happened like the last time, who knows what he would do? So again, Kyle's not wrong. Like what Trump said in that video, and that 2-hour-long press conference, or that sit down with all the senators and mayors and governors from different states, it was a lot of fuck shit he said in there. And you can't excuse those things that he said in there. Again, I wish Kyle had some little bit more political savviness or somebody around him that was handling him, said like, yo, you gotta go have a meeting with Trump, and he gotta address that elephant in that room. Because if I'm a 2A only guy, and that's my number one issue, fuck no, I can't support you. Now, some people say he should have kept it to himself, he should have said it silently, he could have went in the booth and do it. Like, nah. He endorsed him when it was convenient for him because he thought that he was going to do things. And he clearly didn't do some of the things he said. Again, Trump gets credit for Supreme Court picks. They did a lot of the shit. They unfucked the things he fucked with the bub stock man and other things. Shout out to them. They are correcting the things that he did wrong and that Congress did wrong. That's the only thing that he did good for guns. Because, it is what it is. I can't. One Democrat, he constantly says, what has Trump done for the Second Amendment? And Democrats all be saying, like, yo, we got more gun control under Trump than we did under Obama and other people. And that's true. That's just facts. So if Kyle's saying he can't support him because of that reason, I should leave that man alone. He didn't lie. That shit is all true. And watching these grown-ass men and women attack this dude because he didn't say anything wrong, it's nasty work. He's 100% correct about Trump and guns. And I would love him to address that and fix that conversation. Maybe that's why he got J.D. Vance, because I still don't see the value in him. I know he got some money, Silicon Valley connections, stuff like that, but I still don't see the value of him. Maybe he's there to help him on his weakness with the Second Amendment, because he is weak right now on that issue. But yeah, Kamala wants to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and I get it, and I wouldn't vote for her obviously either. But you gotta press these politicians. You don't have anything else. You have to push them and force them to come to your side on the issues. And when they don't do it, you gotta show some accountability and consequences for that. And if one gun influencer says, "Nah, I can't mess with him," it sets a precedent. And we just let that precedent die by trying to bully this kid into changing his, retracting his statements. I don't like that. I respect the shit out of Democrats who will, or it's mostly progressives, honestly. It's not really Democrats or liberals. It's the progressives that will, like, you know, nah. If Kamala keep talking about, not talking about ceasefire, if she don't do what we want her to do with Palestine, we gonna vote down ticket again. And that's a valid political strategy. Now, like, I don't understand why the left act like it's a horrible thing. We know that's what happened in Virginia with Youngkin, and we know that's what happened with Kemp and Georgia. They didn't like Trump. The white suburban women in Georgia and Virginia didn't like Trump's rhetoric in his mouth and how he's talking. Thought it was nasty word. And when it came time to vote, they chose not to vote. They voted down ticket, or they voted for a down ticket, but they just didn't vote for president, or they just didn't vote for him or president. Whatever they did, the governors and the senators won from that state, but the president didn't. And that was done intentional. And that's a strategy. And that's something you can do to show you that, like, that's how you do politics. And I can't believe the number of people who I fought, because they always taking shots at UCAA, they always taking shots at NRA. So I thought they would at least have Kyle's back. He didn't kick his back in, but still, he kicked some other guy in that he think groomed Kyle into having that opinion, whatever. But I'm thinking, I thought this dude was consistent. He's like, no, I'm backing Trump, blah, 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 blah. You got to address that conversation. And maybe he did. Maybe he did do a video about that 6 years ago when it happened. But if you're truly in the gun community in 2A, you can't skip that or scapegoat that. Are we better off with Trump than any Democrat? Most likely, yes. But what Trump said in that video is nasty for a person. When I heard Condoleezza Rice on The View say, yeah, shout out to the Second Amendment and guns, because back in Bull Connor days, those black men who had guns were getting chased by the KKK. Had it not been for the Second Amendment, we wouldn't be able to pick them off and defend our families. But in the same breath after that, she said, I'm okay with banning AR-15. Something along those lines. And that's usually something that if you say some shit like Dr. Big Carson, when he came out, he said some stuff that was gun control-y, and he had to retract that shit because he was talking about it in the context of the hood and urban environments and all that stuff. I get what he was saying. He's from Detroit. Yeah, and still, you can't have that rhetoric trying to be a Republican saying shit like that. Like, it's a no-no. So he had to change his tune. He had to change his rhetoric. That whole point is to make Trump change his too. Right? You can't. There are blue dog Democrats and red. People want Shapiro to be vice president. Shapiro's from Pennsylvania, which they think will help Kamala get it. Shapiro is a blue dog, I guess, on issues of guns, or at least he claims he understands it. He still says the same bullshit comments as gun laws, but he can't go full-fledged and say the shit that Kamala wants to do in his state, because he'll lose if he was running for governor again and co-signing what Kamala Harris said on the Second Amendment. He can't really be there next to him. The governor of Ohio, or one of the Congress people in Ohio, he's hiding from Kamala right now. The reporter asked me, "Are you going to campaign with her? You going to push her agenda?" But like, no, I ain't. He starts stuttering and talking in circles. Like, nah, B, I'm in Ohio. I care about the working class. I want to win my re-election. Her ass be saying some radical shit. I can't co-sign that, right? Remember Doug Jones? Black woman saved America by voting for Doug Jones, who voted 70% with Trump because he's a Democrat in a red state, and he has to vote that way or he would lose. Like, let's look at some civic lessons and learn how to do politics better, people. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm a New Yorker, so no matter who I vote for, it don't matter. Like, that's just standard. Like, he always get the blue Democrats are always going to get New York, California, Illinois, so on. But as far as the shit that happened to Kyle, I think that's fucked up. I supported Kyle, regardless of his political ideology. I support Kyle the same reason why I supported had Ahmaud Arbery had a gun and shot those crackers who was chasing him. I feel the same way. He had the right to do it. He had the right to defend himself. Same reason, same thing. Like, he killed 2 pedophiles. We punished those. That was beautiful. But yeah, this is going to be a crazy election, though. I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's already buck wild. It's already out there. And I don't see it getting any better. This election is Trump's to lose. It's his to lose. Anything can happen at any moment where he going to lose it all. And it's really quite simple. Focus on the middle class, workers, gun rights, bringing back jobs, not getting fracking going in the country, making us this powerhouse of energy again. Focus on all that stuff, whatever. But JD Dance, his comments in the past are detracting from Trump, who wants to get away from the abortion debate. It's just like, man, this shit is all up to Trump to whether he wins or not, because he got to stay on task. That's my video. I'll probably do a separate video or a similar one to this on my other channel. I'll put this one on my gun channel, I think, and then I'll do a different one for my main channel where I'll break down the situation with Ohio governor or the female governor, I think, of Ohio a few years ago, who was ready to do some gun control. And like Corleone pointed out that Reagan's assassination attempt, even though it killed someone else, that led to gun control. And being what we saw in that video, in that press conference with Trump and those leaders, so-called leaders, Trump can be influenced or make his own decision to do the same thing. And he had an assassination attempt on his life, and that shit would be bipartisan in a second, in a heartbeat, pun intended. And Kyle Rittenhouse is correct to feel the way he felt and say, I'm a Second Amendment absolutist, and Trump absolutely said some gun control bullshit, but Trump also picked some 3 Supreme Court picks that helped fix his fuck up.